What's up, WellRED podcast listeners? It's your man, Uncle Daddy. First of all, very excited about this episode. I hope you're looking forward to it. What a great conversation we're about to have with Joe Zimmerman. We recorded this show a little over a week ago. Since then, I've added a show in Knoxville. I just wanted everyone to know about that. I have a show on Sunday, December 17th in Knoxville, Tennessee. You can go to my website, get all the details there at drewmorgancomedy.com. Knoxville, Tennessee, the hometown. Come on out and see me. Love yins.
They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread but sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
What's up, everybody? Here we are. We are joined this week. We told you last week he'd be here, and it held true. The illustrious, the pride of North Carolina, Mr. Joe Zimmerman. How's it going, Joe?
I'm doing well. I'm honored to be here. I just got off the flight to L.A., and I'm happy to be with my boys.
Are they tired?
Whoo, boy.
Sorry.
I may have just farted.
I listened to the AI episode on the flight.
Oh, yeah?
And so I am curious what Drew filmed that day that he couldn't be here. I'm hanging in suspense.
What's the AI episode?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember what you were filming. I don't know if he knew. I don't even know if we knew, because sometimes he'll do that. He doesn't you know, he doesn't share overly.
Yeah, there was a lot of suspense. It just
I tell them stuff all the time. They just don't.
They said you said you were filming and couldn't make it, and they said that it was bogus of you to not be more specific.
Well, see, so we didn't know. We even bitched about it at the time. They
were bitching about it, and now I want to know what you were filming on October 24th.
October.
Well, whenever that episode came out. Anyway,
all right, so
it's fine if he was making it up.
Yeah.
No, I don't lie.
You guys are long-time listeners. You should recognize this man. He's been on the show before. Joe is actually also the very first weekend I ever emceed at a comedy club, which is at Side Splitters in Knoxville. I was like 3 months in or something. The little baby comic, the headliner, was this man. And I think you told me later, I don't think I knew at the time, but I think you told me later that was also your first weekend headlining at a club, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember specifically what the first weekend was, but I remember that was early on for sure.
Yeah.
If I told you that, I must have believed it.
I thought you were absolutely hilarious, and we've kept in touch, and also a sweetheart of a guy. We've kept in touch ever since. You've kept rocking.
Oh.
You've got a new special out called Cult Classic, available on the Nateland YouTube channel, right? And I told you I was going to do this before we started.
Oh, yeah.
I know comics can be weird about this. I watched it today. Like a lot of comics, I very rarely laugh out loud at stand-up anymore. I'm jaded. You know, best case, I'll be like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's funny. That type of thing without really laughing, especially if I'm watching it, like not in the room. I'm at home on my couch watching it. I texted them. I was crying, laughing, watching Cult Classic.
Oh, wow.
You were killing me the whole time. This guy's one of the very best, and I'm not just saying that, so y'all need to check it out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Which, by the way, as soon as Trey sent that text, I was in the woods walking before the show. I threw on the special. I, too, was laughing maniacally in the woods, and you said a thing that I want to bring up right now that I have been pondering what this should be called forever, or that there's a phenomenon going on aside from mansplaining. Mm-hmm. And when you said lady riddling, I was like, God damn it. Like, only Joe Zimmerman could put words to this thing that's been in my head. And I just wanted you to know that's beautiful and hilarious.
I'm going to have to stop myself from doing too much of this, Joe, because like I also, while watching it, there were so many different bits and stuff you had that I wanted to bring up, and I was like, but obviously I don't want to spoil it for people. I want people to watch it. So we could talk about some of the subjects, but I'm not going to do the lines. But you said one line, though, where you said, in the bit Corey's talking about, where you were like, you think you'd figured out the difference between mansplaining and just a man saying a thing is whether or not you like what he said. Yeah. You don't like it, it's mansplaining. Otherwise, it's just a man talking. Yeah, very good.
Well, thank you so much. I'm honored that you watched it and liked it, and I'm even more honored, Corey, that you were in the woods. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. But yeah, it was fun to record it. Nate Bargatze directed it, and now it's on YouTube. It's free, family friendly, and I'm excited about it. And yeah, that's so funny that was your first MC week. That I was headlining. Like, you don't. when you're headlining early on, well, when you're headlining in general, you're not really scouting the MCs for talent.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're just trying to get by. But I definitely not long after that, Shane Gillis MC'd a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely, you two are the only ones I'm aware of that have gone on to great success. I'm sure there's been more. I just didn't keep in touch with everybody.
One time at a festival, Trey and I got like best of fest. We got to do like a final showcase. We've told the story of how this motherfucker didn't even show up. He was like, I'm already back at my hotel. When they announced it, he was like,
it was like a 1 a.m. show. I didn't know I was going to be on it. I was already drunk and in bed, naked, basically.
Was it Atlanta?
We've hashed it. It was in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay,
But anyway,
yeah.
they called me and I was like, I can't make. Tell them I can't make it.
the point though is it was him, Sam Talent, Dulce Sloan, me, and a guy named Dave who quit. And I'm like, in my head always since then, I'm like, thank God for that Dave guy quitting. Because if he hadn't, he'd probably be super famous and rich now, and I'd really be struggling with this whole thing.
Are you sure he hasn't taken off somewhere else?
He's probably like a writer, musician or something.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like directed Bo Burnham's last special.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you about your special, correct me if I'm wrong, for me as a fan of yours, this feels like, to me, a little bit of a long time coming. And what I mean by that is I've known about you for a while, but it's not just like just us. You've been opening for Brian Regan. Obviously, Nate Bargatze's a fan. I've been waiting for a long time for a Joe Zimmerman special. Did you wait on purpose? Like, if it would have, I would assume you've had opportunities in the last 4 or 5 years. Am I just an idiot? Am I just assuming things?
No, I put out a album in 2014 and 2018, audio. I think with two pretty good record labels.
Those are also great.
And
Smiling at Wolves, right?
you.
Wolves, yeah.
And
That's my favorite album.
so great.
Seriously, and I've told you this before. I've quoted like Pony Danza is the best tag of all
Is that
time.
the one with the Andrew Jackson bit on it?
Yeah, with Andrew
Yeah,
Jackson's
yeah.
parrot. So funny.
Amazing.
Maybe said more properly. Why aren't you famous yet? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, totally.
But sorry, go ahead though.
I could tell you why I'm not famous, but multiple reasons. But I think I wanted to wait 3 or 4, at least 3 years after recording an album to come up with a new hour.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of wanted to find a good production company to, and ideally a name to do the special. And so I just kind of waited it out for a year and a half. And then Nate mentioned he was doing a production company and that he was interested. So I just followed up on that.
That rules. It reminds me, it's so weird to compare you to this guy that I'm about to compare you to, but Kendrick Lamar has
Same thing.
I think he gets that all the time,
has
actually.
has spoken
third
a
time
lot in
today.
interviews about how like the rap game is now content, go on the podcast, like do all these things. He's like, people were like, is something wrong with you? And he's like, no, it's supposed to take 4 years to do a great record. So it's going to take me 4 years to do a great fucking record, and I don't need to be on the internet fighting with people or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that other people feel that way. Because I just see people come out with a new special every 12 to 18 months and feel like I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Right.
But I feel like it takes me 2 years, at least 2 years to write a new hour, and then another year to tour it, to polish it. And then somewhere in there, it feels like you might be ready to record it.
I mean, you're doing the right thing.
I was about to say that used to be, that was like the standard. I feel like it was Louis, right, that basically changed all that. Louis made it to where everybody felt like they had to put out a
Worst
special.
thing he's ever done.
Best, but yeah, by a mile, by a mile the worst.
And he
I can't
was
even
great
think of
at
anything
it.
else that you could knock him for other than that. But yeah, hey,
What do you want for Christmas?
That's right, baby. It's that time of year. This weekend, December 14th, 15th, and 16th, it's a WellRead Christmas at Zany's in Nashville. Come see us, TreyCrowder.com for tickets. By the way, we're not touring as much together, so even if you're not from Nashville, but you're near, this is a destination event. WellRead Christmas, a tradition unlike any other. Zany's in Nashville this weekend, December 14th, 15th, and 16th. TreyCrowder.com for tickets. Come see us, y'all. And now, back to Joe Zimmerman.
But yeah, everybody put out a special every 12 months, and every comic who had a name at the time started doing it. And not everybody's Louis, man. Most of us can't do that. Turns out
It's
And a lot
not
of
just
bad
that
specials
too, but
came
then after Louis did that, like Netflix started signing all these big comics, and they would sign them for a 3 special deal and be like, you have to have them out in 18 months. And of course, a comic's going to be like, yes, thank you for all the money. Then they do the first special, and then they're like, oh, fuck, I got to do 2 more. You know, so it's like, of course you're going to take the money, but like all 3 of them ain't going to be good.
So Corey wants to talk about birds, and I do too. You got some bird news, right, Joe? We love bird. We don't break much bird news, but we do like talking about animals. So
may I defend myself before we move on to birds? Because I feel like we're going to get lost in the sauce when you bring up this list. I was filming my OnlyFans set. OnlyFans is doing comedy now. I talked to them about it all week. And then that day I was like, I'm filming, and we start at 3, which surprised me. I can't record today. And I just looked it up. I didn't say what I was filming because it's all I'd been talking to them about for a fucking week.
okay, to be fair though,
I won that
I get him. I get. He did say we're filming at 3, which caught me off guard. But if somebody's filming something at 3 p.m., your head don't go to a stand-up thing.
Sure,
at
I mean,
3 p.m.
What I said was surprised me. Didn't know it'd be that early.
We thought you'd just been surprised
I'd also
with the whole thing.
Been in Atlanta that week.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just assume you're very prolific, Drew. I thought you had a lot of things going on.
You have never assumed or thought that about me.
Well,
I just did.
Well, when on the podcast, when I listened to it and you had said you were filming, I had actually assumed it was for OnlyFans. Yeah. And it does add up.
And you were correct.
So yeah,
you recorded a comedy special for OnlyFans?
I recorded they're doing feature sets
cool.
now. I think I did 10 minutes. They pay very well. And yeah, it's just like a push they're doing. You got to sign up for OnlyFans and have one for 6 months.
Okay.
But also we have a fuck ton of Southern gay fans. So I also show my butt. I'm crushing it on OnlyFans, actually.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing how much money I'm making.
Well, it's a perfect segue because I've got a new website called Only Birds, and you only show birds.
yeah.
And you can pay different levels to see which birds.
I bet
the rare
that could
birds
probably
are more
work though. You think that because as you talk about something, especially like bird people, they love to bird.
Oh,
They're
my
really
goodness.
into birding. So I mean, I bet there is a website like that. Just birds.
Well, I'm on a website called Ebirdorg where you can keep track of your life list of how many birds you've seen in your career.
Now, how do you learn about you gotta learn the birds before you even go to find the birds, obviously. Like I don't ever see a bird and go, I know that bird.
Yeah,
I never know any birds.
It seems like a mentor has to get you into this.
It's a little bit about like writing a great hour of comedy. You go do the joke and then you build on the joke. So you go see the bird and then you go look up what bird you just saw and then you remember it the next time you see it.
You got a a clucket list for birds? Sorry.
Yes.
Apologize.
I'm too.
Or are you just winging it? Hey, sorry.
I'm 2 years into the game, so I'm still a baby. Let's be honest. I don't quite. I'm
baby bird.
I'm not even at the point where I know what birds I haven't seen yet and want to see.
A bunch of them.
You
I
don't
would
have
imagine.
your known unknowns. And
But I
your
will
unknown
say-
unknowns.
I will say there's a term in birding called your Nemesis Bird, where longtime birders are like, "Gosh, I can't get this bird.
Can't get it.
I
Like a
keep
white
trying-
whale?
Yeah, it's the white whale. And so my baby nemesis was a bald eagle because everybody I know has seen a bald eagle. And I just had not crossed paths with a bald eagle. So finally, I was in North Dakota, hit a bald eagle. I got my nemesis.
Nice.
My baby nemesis.
Yeah, you
I'm about to say, that's
later.
feels like you need to pick a stronger nemesis.
Yeah.
you know.
So
you're overpowered.
I got past my level 1 nemesis.
Oh,
and
okay.
now I'm ready to go to level 2.
The American in me was like, there ain't no stronger nemesis than a bald eagle.
I mean, yeah.
2 years surprised me because you had like. There's been an animal thing, a theme, I think, throughout your career, your show at Comedy Central and all that stuff. Like, I just feel like you've always been a bird guy, so that surprised me.
You had
How'd you
bits
get into
about
it?
ravens or crows and stuff, I remember, and Andrew Jackson's parrot.
Yep.
You're right. He's a long time.
Yeah, he
bird
does a
guy.
lot of bird stuff.
So
I
how'd you
think-
get into it? Because I thought you always had been.
I think deep down I've always liked birds, but it wasn't until 2 years ago that I started occasionally waking up at 7 a.m. and looking at birds.
Not the pandemic, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Well, yeah, it
Towards
was.
the end of
it was. Yeah, well, the beginning of 2021 was the pandemic,
okay.
so it was right around then.
Yeah, that's a good pandemic hobby to take.
Yeah,
pick up.
definitely.
Do you think people lie on ebird.org?
Yeah, do you got to prove anything?
Is there a
picture?
clout?
You got to take a picture? Or?
You know, in that world, is there guys with clout, gals with clout?
Well, it shows you the leaders in each state, how many birds they've seen that year. And so you'll see the top New Yorkers. It'll be some guy with 673 birds and some guy right behind him with 672.
Nail biter.
And you know they're gunning for each other.
And how do we know that one of them's not lying?
Well, there's no way to know that they're not lying, but there's also no reward for them if they are lying.
Other than the glory, you know?
Seeing your name in
glory.
top.
Yeah, right.
Got to be a dopamine trip.
Out there in the
dude.
lights. Yeah. You want to be the bird goat, you know?
Real names or usernames?
I think it's their usernames, but their photo. But then there's a photo of whatever photo they want to post. So you just see like two old guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say mostly old people, and are these exclusively white people, or it just feels like a white pursuit to me?
Yeah, well,
watching birds.
You know, it's a. Well, there was the famous birder who had the Karen incident.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah, you're
What?
right. Excuse me. I apologize. I was out of turn.
Central Park Christian Cooper, and he now has a show on National Geographic.
Has his own bird show because of a Karen.
But
there is
that's-
justice
Could you
in the
explain
world.
this to me? Because I don't know what the fuck that you're talking about.
You missed this? But huge bird news,
Yeah.
Joe.
Well, first of all, that's probably a sign of how few African American birders there are. That the one African American birder immediately gets a TV show.
Right.
It's probably not a ton of them.
Yeah.
But it is diverse, and well, at least they're trying to open up to diversity, which is one of the bird name topics for today. But before we go into bird name diversity and opening birding up to a more diverse, what were you saying, Corey?
He doesn't know the story, I think.
Corey.
I don't know the Karen birding story that
Oh.
led to this.
This was like one of the
person
most,
of color having a show.
This was one of the most viral Karen incidents that I can remember.
I bet you remember it, but the bird thing was just like so far down on your list.
Sure.
And this is a perfect topic for liberals versus conservatives seeing something differently.
Yeah.
I know you guys aren't interested in that sort of thing. But
Never talk about that. But I don't know where you're going with it in this particular instance. So
well, basically,
Joe's about to defend the Karen.
the narrative was
He was too close to the fucking bird.
he
I'll tell you
was
that.
being aggressive.
He scared the fucking bird.
I mean, just the big story was it was the same day as George Floyd. Apparently, that's what it says now.
Oh wow.
This white lady called the cops on an African American birder in Central Park on a morning, and he was just in the Ramble, which is a bird refuge area where there's no dogs allowed off leash.
Okay.
So this well-known birder in the area was bird watching in the Ramble, and there was a dog off the leash.
It does sound white.
Yeah.
A well-known birder was in the Ramble, and the dog was off the leash.
Yeah, and so apparently him and the lady had an issue with the dog off the leash, and then we just heard her call to 911 where she was panicked, saying, "There's an African American man threatening me in the Ramble."
Yeah.
Threatening my dog.
My God.
So
and,
it
and
was
basically she was
Birder was the case that she gave me.
There it is. So it was her dog. Right?
It was her dog off
and
leash.
he was like, "Hey, you ain't supposed to have that dog off a leash in this part of the park," and she lost it.
Yeah.
Ended up calling the cops.
Didn't she lie? Didn't she lie? She said he did something that people
She
around
said
there were like, "No, he didn't."
So he was threatening her and the dog, right? And that type, just the classic move.
She thought he was. Yeah, she said he was threatening her, and she called panicked. And anyway, so everybody was like, "We can't keep up with this white on black hate," and it was just classic. And she was basically run out of the country. She went into hiding.
Did you see she actually just a couple of months ago, just 2 months ago, she put out an op-ed in, I don't remember which paper it was, but the whole op-ed was like her saying, "Just so everyone knows, my life has been ruined.
Yeah.
Everything is over for me," and everything. And she got roasted for that too.
Yeah.
Of course, the whole internet was like, "Well, maybe you shouldn't have been such a bitch."
Maybe
huh?
all the bird watchers and their binoculars. Is that how they found her after she went in hiding? I thought that would get more. I'm sorry.
Well, so I'm not going to be the one to defend Karen, but not all the facts came out.
Oh,
So it wasn't as black and white.
hey,
Hey.
So anyway, it's a classic situation where the narrative took the narrative that we all wanted it to take, which is annoying, Karen, racist. But there is another side of the story. We don't need to get into it, but just the other side of the story.
Man, now I want to know.
If you want to look into the other side of the story, he himself published on Facebook that he said the next day he wrote, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do something that you're not going to like, which was a little bit of a threat.
After all that happened is what you're saying.
That was right before the phone call.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to like what I'm about to do. And I'm
going to kill that dog.
He came to the park with dog treats. So I'm
going to bring my hawk.
So he had a thing of like with dogs. Like he came prepared with dog treats. And then apparently there's a lot of anecdotes about him getting into it with people.
Like he owns the ramble.
Like he's pretty aggressive about stuff.
A little uppity.
But then the most important thing from the other perspective was if you listen to the 911 call, and again, I'm not here to defend Karen, but if you listen to the actual 911 call, why she's screaming has a whole new perspective. Because the only thing we saw was Karen going, there's an African-American man threatening me in the ramble.
Yeah.
And then she keeps getting louder. And then if you hear the 911 call, the 911 operator is like, I'm sorry, ma'am, you're breaking up. Can you say that louder?
Oh.
And she keeps getting more elevated and crazier. And it's like, well, if you listen to the 911 call, it makes sense why sounds like she's getting louder.
It'd be funny if she was like doing that, but going like, and I'm screaming because you're asking me to scream. I'm not screaming because I'm upset at how black he is. That's not what it is. Just because, just so everyone knows, she's directing me to scream about this man's scary blackness.
She should, or like the operator's like, can you say that louder? And she's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk away from this one.
I mean, that's what I would have done. I think. And
me too.
Can you say that louder? It's like, no, I'll just die if I'm going to die.
Or call the cops over an argument. You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't do that in the first place.
Let's just leave.
Right.
But I think the other lesson is, unless they ask you for a description, just say man. It's just going to be a better read on the internet. There's a man threatening me.
It's not like a helicopter was going to fly into the Central Park forest and look for an African American.
You guys remember
He's
that?
He's a bird watcher. Him being black has very little to do with anything that's going on.
Do you guys remember that Mark Norman bit kind of about this, where he was talking about if you had to make a 911 call and trying to give a description or whatever, and he's like, this woman just had a terrible car accident. I'm not saying they can't drive or whatever. It's just, but that's what happened. It's like, she's Asian. That has nothing to do with it either, right? And then she's like, there's a black guy in a pool of blood. Not saying they can't swim, or whatever. Like, I mean, obviously I butchered it, but it was funny.
There's a comedian who got in trouble for doing a version of that with like trans. Like someone's pronouns. You're not sure what their pronouns are. But they've, who did the robbery? He, she, Z. You know what? Fuck it. I did it. Arrest me. I did it.
Okay. So, bird news, bird controversy is what? Birding is going woke or the opposite?
All that happened. Wow, I'm glad we hit that because all that happened early on in 2020 pandemic when people in big cities were particularly freaked out wearing masks and didn't have a lot of social exposure, which explains a little that even more. But that whole controversy led to a group called Bird Names for Birds.
Okay.
They're good at naming things.
Writing to the National Ornithological Society, being like, we cannot have these 7 birds in North America that were named after men from the 1800s who owned slaves or killed Native Americans. We cannot have birds associated with these guys because we need to...
A Jim Crow.
We need to make... we need to open up... Exactly. We need to open up...
I didn't know that was a real guy.
We need to open up bird watching. We need to make it more inclusive and attract
Are these famous names?
The birds in question?
Well, the men.
I wrote them down so I didn't forget them.
Well,
but
good.
So no.
Well, John James Audubon is the most famous.
Okay.
Because he started the Audubon Society.
The reason I'm asking is it's like, I don't know if non-white people are avoiding bird watching because one bird was named after a dude no one remembers.
Well,
also,
you're saying, I mean, you're saying you haven't avoided bird watching because of Clark's Nutcracker?
Right. Right. It's not like
so that's
Hitler's
one of them, Clark's Nutcracker?
Robin.
Clark's Nutcracker is one of them, named after Lewis, the Clark from Lewis and Clark.
Well, that guy's
dude,
famous.
I'm about to say that guy's still, he's still very, very noteworthy, right?
Yeah.
By the way, for those just listening, Joe just brought out an actual notebook full of bird facts.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I didn't want to forget,
every noteworthy man.
Joe, do you have autism?
He's autistic. Yeah.
Wow, you guys are hitting it. You guys are hitting it.
Puns. Yeah, we don't.
There's a new person to impress.
We don't do it in our. I don't think many of us have many bits on the subject, but we get into animal stuff on here a lot, and usually, get rolling a little bit. But Clark, yeah, I'm sure he was a massive asshole, but so is like literally everybody from history. So like,
well, I doubt there's
but
a
no
lot
one
of
knows. Everyone hears Clark's Nutcracker. You're not going to go like Lewis and Clark because
fuck this. Throw my binoculars down.
You know what I mean? It's like,
well, the people that are like. There's definitely an argument about like, guys, you're going over the top. Is really the 7 bird names keeping minorities away from bird watching? But
also imagine the reverse. Someone's like, "Oh, I never thought of it," but now that they renamed the birds away from the dudes I've never heard of, because that's the part I can't get past. What are the other 5? We got Audubon, Clark. Who else?
You don't want to mess with McCown's Longspur.
Okay.
John McCown, Confederate surgeon.
yeah.
You got
surgeon.
Wait, Confederate surgeon? Like
Confederate.
He was in the war as a surgeon,
basically.
Okay.
You got. The big one was The big one for me was Townsend's Warbler.
Okay.
John Kirk Townsend, botanist, and dug up Native American graves.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Ooh. Why?
Like
It's rough.
to build stuff on top of them as custom, or just because he liked it.
I did follow up and dig up the research, and because I'm like, why would you dig up Native American graves?
Yeah.
He dug up Native American skulls to send them to some scientist to try to prove that white men were smarter.
There
it gets
it
worse.
is. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought he was just trying to steal the.
That's called the KFC double down.
Steal the headdress or something that the chief was buried in.
Yeah,
you
make
know what I
money.
mean? Something like that. Yeah, not.
This is in his heart.
Yeah.
But I would have never
doing it for love of the game.
Yeah, not
and
capitalism.
and hate of the Indians.
But I would have never known anything about John Townsend if I hadn't heard about this bird switch.
That's sort of my point. Is like you're kind of bringing him back into the lexicon.
It's the Barbra Streisand effect. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
warbler.
And there's the other thing. It's like, once you come for our birds, what's next? Our flowers? I mean, come on. You can't take everything from us.
Well, dude, I guess that's the flip side. It doesn't matter to get rid of these names.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, but yeah, like, you're from the South, and it's like anytime you find out, it almost feels like if you dig into the origin of anything in the South, some of them are obvious, Robert E. Lee Elementary School or whatever the hell else, but it's like, it doesn't matter. It don't have to be like that. It's just like anything. You dig in the origin story or the etymology of any like prominent Southern building or street or phrase or saying or whatever, and it's like, it usually ends up being racist.
Yeah, I mean, United States of America named after Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah.
Bit of a colonialist, if you ask me.
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know about any of that.
Joe.
I didn't even know it was named after a guy.
Yeah,
Amerigo Vespucci?
I know Amerigo Vespucci.
I believe you.
Spaghetti boy.
Spaghetti boy. Yeah.
SCA sounds Italian to me. Fuck that.
Yeah, a colonial spaghetti boy.
Well, he can't. He's got to sound something. He can't sound American.
Don't talk shit to me,
Okay,
Trey.
all right, you're right.
But I was curious to hear y'all's takes on bird names being changed for woke
Do they
reasons.
propose? Right? Yeah. Do they propose? Like, make it Tubman's warbler.
Oh, this is fun. They want it to be things that describe the bird.
Well, I mean, that would also make sense. I feel like
They want it to be common sense, things that describe the bird. And they're letting anybody submit suggestions for each bird. So it's open to the public for suggestions.
like the internet, because that never goes well.
It's not going to go well.
It's going to be Birdie McBirdface or Hitler Sparrow or whatever.
Unfortunately, it was good they're changing that one. But unfortunately, it's not up for public vote, but it is up because then it would be a lot of bird face.
Right.
Who's voting?
But the public gets to put suggestions in, and then the Ornithological Society.
You submitting any?
I'm going to go through all 80 and submit.
It's weird that the Ornithological Society's on about names when they're named after killer O.J. Simpson. I think that's very weird.
Right. Wait, wasn't there 2 more names of birds that you didn't mention?
Did I mention Wilson's snipe?
No.
Which Wilson?
And then Swainson's hawk.
Are these?
Hold on.
Monsters?
Why don't they just keep their names the same but pretend they're named after different people who also have that last name?
I like that.
Well, that's what I was about to ask. Is like, are these historical monsters? Did they also like discover have anything to do with these birds, or somebody that found this bird and is a bird scientist really likes old racist and was like, I'm gonna give him this one, I'm gonna give that guy this one.
I like the skull guy.
Yeah, right.
No, it was basically it was basically dudes from the 1800s who were like into birds.
Yeah.
So they were avid birder, naturalist, botanist type guys, scientist guys who were also like, yeah, it's cool to own slaves.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They were just into birds and then oppressing people.
Sure.
And so the birds were named after the people that kind of discovered them / obviously they didn't discover them, but they were the first to identify them.
So in the middle of the pandemic, Joe was like, what did my heroes do for hobbies?
Well, I mean, dude, if they are the first that identified them, like, I mean, goddamn, like, what you gonna do, you know?
I will say I got into birding thinking it was a very innocent, innocuous thing, free, devoid of conflict and controversy.
Well, I mean, like city names, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to rename Columbus, Ohio, right?
Right.
Obviously. Never. I mean, that'd be crazy. But
Not on my watch.
Christopher Columbus, don't hit. I'm from Clay County. Actually, I don't even know how bad Henry Clay is. He's probably pretty bad, right? But there's a Calhoun County. He was the worst of the worst. John C. Calhoun.
Yeah,
Does he have a bird? John C. Cal.
We're named after
Hoodale?
Daniel Morgan, who was in the military. I've never looked up. I think he was a Revolutionary War guy, but it still probably wasn't good after that.
Right. It's just, I hate to say it, but it feels like a bit of a slippery slope to me, guys.
First it's birds, next it's they want to
Flowers,
vote.
like you said. Yeah.
Another thing that this made me think of was like a lot of these people thought like similar ways 200, 300 years ago, right? About Native Americans or whatever they thought. Even the like nature-y people.
Yeah.
It made me realize it made me a little intimidated to think what people 300 years from now are going to think of us.
That's why they're not naming the birds after new heroes, because then you'd have the Bill Cosby eagle and
we've talked before about
Cosby's nightjar. Yeah.
We talked before about like what do you think, like what we think, what we are going to be papaws about in the future. You know what I mean? Like exactly what you're talking about. And I tried to make a bit for a while and never really could get it together about how like I thought even when society advances, the South will still be a little bit behind everybody else. So it's like in the like Southern papaws in the future will be racist against like androids or whatever, or like if aliens show up, they're racist against aliens too, and that type of thing. But I'm sure there's going to be stuff that we can't even think of.
The things I was brainstorming were like they used to have zoos.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one.
100%.
That's a good one.
They used to eat animals.
No, that's what I thought. That's the one.
That one's almost for sure going to happen.
We've talked about that. They'll figure out a way to like read animals' thoughts. It's like, oh, I wonder what they think, and just over and over they're screaming, "Please don't eat my children."
Oh yeah.
And I'm still going to eat them.
Right.
Sure.
And then
They're going to come after Colonel Sanders eventually, don't you think?
I don't know how bad, relatively speaking, he was to any of y'all. Just because,
look at plantation.
Just because I feel like we'd know all that, don't you think? Like how everything's gone the past few years, if he was like a monster like that, it would have come out. I think. I
actually follow one of his distant relatives who like kind of looks Mexican, but he dresses like Colonel Sanders.
Corey Paul's an insane person who pretends to be Colonel Sanders.
Well, his entire Instagram is defending the legacy of Colonel Sanders. Like he goes, anytime anyone is talking any type of shit, he makes a reel and he's dressed up. Like, I don't know if he's Mexican, but he's got the mustache and he's a little dark complected. He don't look like he's his grandson is all I'm saying. And he just goes on there and is just like, all these people are talking shit about Harvey, which I think is his real name. Mm-hmm. But like, he did not steal his chicken recipe from black people. He made it up.
Ain't it Harlan? Is that not
Harlan? There you
Harlan
go.
Sanders?
Dude,
I think
let's make up some shit about him to see if we can get that guy to respond. Y'all got bigger followings than me. One of y'all do it. Just make some.
But if
bullshit
he
up.
did,
I don't
if he-
wanna
I'm
come
about to say,
after
I
the
don't want to.
Colonel.
I'm about to say, I got no beef with the Colonel. If he got,
Hell no. That's my dude.
Right, no beef with the Colonel.
The owner of Chick-fil-A is under fire. Colonel Sanders. Bojangles is next.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, yeah.
Where does it end?
Where does
Colonel
it end,
Bo
guys?
Jangles, actually. He was in the
You
war.
also talked about something else that we've talked about on here. It's always been hilarious to me, like a fascination of mine, and it's sort of in the same ballpark. About like sometimes you'll see a headline about like a scientific study or something, and it's like, how high were those scientists when they came up with that? It's like you were saying, it's scientists is like they're either curing cancer or trying to like solve, hunger forever or get us to Mars or whatever. Or, as you said, they're like, I wonder if monkeys play soccer or whatever. I can't play soccer. And and I love that shit. Do you know about, first question, do you know about the Ig Nobel Prizes, the Ig Nobel Prize?
Oh no, but it sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's pretty funny. Probably tell just from hearing the name. It's like, it's this other, it's sort of like the Razzies with the Oscars. They give out these awards to people who do real dumb shit in the same fields that, the people get Nobel Prizes for.
The dumbest science studies?
The dumbest seeming science studies or
Nice.
whatever. And the second question is, I think our favorite that comes up on here every now and then. I don't know if this person actually won the Ig Nobel Prize, but she should have. This might predate that. But our favorite one of these types of things, do you know about the lady who jacked off that dolphin trying to teach it to talk, and then when she left it, it killed itself? Do you know about that?
You know about that? What do you think about that?
I'm lightheaded.
Peter the dolphin.
Yeah.
I had heard about a woman that did this in the 60s. I didn't hear. I heard that the dolphin really grew fond of her.
Yes.
I didn't.
And it was the CIA. That's the only part he left out.
I didn't hear the last part about
Yes.
the dolphin taking its life.
Yeah.
Tell him how, Trey.
He just stayed at the bottom.
Went to the bottom and just stayed there
Yeah.
until he died.
Oh my god.
It gets less funny.
A depressed.
I don't know. It's still pretty
Lovesick.
funny. That dolphin would
It's
be long
fucking funny.
dead by now anyway. Hell.
Well, yeah, but that was the woman in the 60s, right?
Yes. So they were trying to figure out a way to communicate with dolphins, like humans and dolphins being able to communicate, just like we've done with the apes and the sign language and stuff.
But for weapon
And
reasons.
some
It was
lady
like the
just goes,
CIA.
how about I jack him
Well,
off?
no, she couldn't get him. Well, dolphins are famously like rapey and famously horny. Dolphins, like they love to
They fuck heads.
Well,
fish heads.
To be fair, just
Oh,
just
is
so we're
this
not specious.
Okay.
There's 41 different dolphin species.
They're all horny.
Get the
though.
fuck out of
and
here.
some of them are a little bit, rapey. But there's plenty of
But
species
some of 'em are sweet?
that are sweet.
Well, this was one of the rape monster dolphins that she was working with, and she couldn't get him to
That's how they found him, actually.
She couldn't get him to focus. Get your head in the game, dolphin. Fucking pay attention.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't because he was all whatever, riled up, and
Needed to get jacked off.
And so
Dude.
she had the bright idea. She's like, maybe
good.
if I jack this dolphin off, then he'll chill out, get the baby battery off the brain, and actually listen to me in class.
That's true.
And
we tell us all the time.
It worked. And then so she just kept doing it, and because she kept doing it, he fell in love with her, dolphin love. And then when the program ended and she had to go away and she left him, he killed himself by sinking to the bottom.
My guess is that somebody ended that program.
Yeah, right. Well, it's one of those things. Like, what were they doing?
Yeah,
Why were they
someone's
doing it
boss
in the
was
first
like,
place?
we're doing what?
We're funding. How much are we spending on this?
Yeah, but it was the CIA, right?
Yeah.
Dude, they were like the shit they did.
Well, they were taking their drugs they were inventing.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why we brought you on here today. Dolphin rape.
Yeah.
Is it the only funny form of rape or not? I try to get a bit about that to work like 4 or 5 times. No one wants to hear it. But it's like, if your buddy was like, hey man, I got something to tell you. Last week in Florida, I got raped by a dolphin. You'd accidentally laugh. Like you'd laugh.
I
It's
do
so
think
funny.
dolphin's the best one because I almost threw out monkey, but I was like, no, that's too close to people.
Yeah,
That's
man, no.
that ain't it.
That's the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
You know,
Giraffe?
I have no comment on this topic.
You don't want to rank? All right, I can't even say it now.
But I will say, just last night, I was hanging with somebody in Utah, not a comedian, who told me that a guy in Utah had gone to jail for assaulting sexually an ostrich. So that was something
They're the right height.
I had planned to Google later as well.
No, they're too tall, I think, aren't they? Don't you think they're too tall?
Oh, yeah, you'd still have to get a stool.
Just get a stool.
But just the amount of desire
Willingness,
you'd have to pull that off with an ostrich sounds pretty.
Because aren't they
And
a little?
ingenuity.
They don't.
They're known for being violent.
I'm about to say they wouldn't just take
strong
that shit.
you up,
too.
You got to be kind of a badass, I think, to sexually assault an ostrich.
Yeah.
Because like they'll fuck you up.
We respect this guy.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, get him on the show.
In addition to being a lunatic, he's pretty hardcore. Is all I'm saying.
Sure,
Because those things,
Honestly,
those things will fuck you up.
That's the bad combination when a lunatic is pretty hardcore.
Yeah, because they're close cousins. The emus, right, famously won a war against Australia. Yeah.
And cassowaries, which are a rarer bird, but it's the
Dinosaur
deadliest
birds.
one around.
Now you guys are just trying to impress me.
Oh yeah, you
We've
like
been doing that the whole
cassowaries?
time. I seen a cassowary in the wild.
In Australia?
Yeah, there's only like 1,000 of them in the wild.
Oh, wow.
Well, there was back then. It's
Is
probably more
Ian
now.
Cassowary a racist from Australia, you think?
Killed Aboriginals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get the bit at first. I was like, who the fuck is Ian Cassowary?
Joe was all over it. You ain't got to worry.
You saw a cassowary. Wow. Were you intimidated?
No. I mean, it was running away from us. There was a
yeah.
group of us, and they just looked like tiny emus. I mean, if it had come at us, sure, I'd have shit my pants.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's actually. I'm sure there's probably some people for whom that's their nemesis bird, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
The cassowary.
In
'Cause
more
they are
ways
kinda-
than one.
I bet if they really wanted to see it, so there's only like 1,000 of them in the wild, but they're all in one area. We did get lucky, but like surely it's not that rare. What if that's the luckiest thing that ever happened to me? I wasted all my luck on that
I'm
event.
seeing a cassowary.
I didn't even care.
Well, Joe's impressed. At
Super
least there's
impressed.
that.
It was cool,
Yeah.
especially because my buddy Luke was being an idiot. We have this on film. He was like, "This is how you call them, boys." Like we were high or whatever. We were 22, and he was like, "Cassowary." And the second time he hit it, a fucking bird walked out right in front of us, looked at us, and took off.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That is nice. You also, this has nothing to do with birds or science, but you were talking about school and how much school sucks or whatever, which is or like how much it would suck as an adult, which I thought was funny because I feel like generally speaking, you think about school and it's like, and didn't know how good I had it or they don't know how good they got it. You know what I mean? It's so simple,
Yeah.
school. You know what I mean? I don't have any of the stress of adult life. That was, you don't even know they're the good old days until it's too late. But you were talking about it made me realize, like, no, I guess school does kind of suck. I've got two sons that are like middle school age right now, and I was like, yeah, my day hits so much harder than theirs.
Right.
Like, so-
You can literally do whatever you want.
yeah, right. Yeah.
And they, every day, 7 to 3, 7 to 4. Well, you know the schedule better than I do.
Yeah, the way, I do not want to spoil your bits. Please watch his special. It's so goddamn funny. But the way you talked about lunch and PE, like that whole dynamic, just absolutely fucking killed
You made me
That was
feel
so
like shit
funny.
because you mentioned in jest one of my favorite meals, which is spaghetti and milk. I'm a big fan of spaghetti and milk and then running around in hiking boots, you asshole.
Yeah. That's
Well,
your
there you go.
thing.
That's what you said. Yeah, that's it.
That's your thing, huh? Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you probably got into spaghetti and milk from all your years of public school. That's probably where they got.
That's true.
West Virginia, the big exciting meal in West Virginia was pepperoni rolls on Wednesday. I don't know if you had a special meal in Tennessee.
We had pizza
Macaroni
with
and
corn on
Cheese
Friday.
and rolls was the whole meal, just straight carbs.
I mean,
Nice.
the classic square pizza
with the corn, which is also carbs. Did you put the corn on the pizza?
No,
Of course.
We did, buddy. Oh, that rectangle pizza.
I don't know. Yeah, the rectangle pizza.
Scoop
is-
corn on it.
We had the
Fold it like a burrito.
breakfast version of that in the
Okay.
morning. Did you have that? The breakfast square pizza?
I didn't do the breakfast at school because I didn't ride the bus because my mom worked there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That school lunch is where I learned the move where people would innocently be like, "Are you going to finish your roll?" And we would just learn to just lick the roll right in front of their face.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or the other move you learn around 5th grade is oh, what's that? I've never tried that before.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like, you've never tried pizza?
Yeah. Nachos. Let me ask you this, because I think I generally know for them too. Because I have a 5th grader and a 6th grader.
Those are good years.
You're a nice guy.
Those are memorable years.
All right. Are you? So that's my question. When you were in 6th grade, were you like an absolute just fucking degenerate monster? I don't mean like in your classrooms or whatever. I just mean with your buddies and shit. Because I was talking to my wife the other night about how, because my best friend from back home, he's got kids the same age as mine. And we'll talk before. It's like, dude, do you remember what we were like in 6th grade? Because like,
I think it was 7th for me.
dude, for us, it was definitely 6th. Like we were just nasty, is what I'm saying. Just,
I remember
just
that time
nasty period. And like
just covered in cum.
My sons just don't, and my wife don't want to hear it at all. You know, she's like, no, they're not even close to that type of thing. And I'm like, Katie, I think I think you're in denial. But anyway, so like, what for you? Like,
well, my memory of 5th and 6th grade was that I was still just an innocent, slightly introverted, slightly chubby child that liked to do research on kiwis and stuff like that.
the birds?
And the Amazon.
The people of New Zealand?
Long-time bird lover.
I thought it was fruit. We were all over the fucking
I was
map.
writing a lot of research papers on, the Amazon rainforest, those sort of things. It was, and
maybe that's why you hated school.
But I noticed, but I noticed around 5th and 6th grade is when the troublemakers and the bullies started showing up in force.
Yeah.
And so you had to be a little more careful what you said. So I was more the quiet kid, 5th, 6th grade. But the bad kids start to really show up in 5th, 6th grade.
Well, so I was a fat dork too. I know you didn't classify yourself exactly that way. That's how I heard it. Yeah, I was a fat dork too, but I wasn't being a dickhead or bullying people or nothing like that. But like my aforementioned best friend, the other like redneck kids we ran with and stuff, like I don't feel like we were causing too much hell or bothering other kids at school and everything. I just mean like
dirty jokes,
the shit we talked about.
Yeah, that's when you develop your sense of humor.
Like just cussing like sailors, just acting like just talking about buttholes.
Not even like putting the curse words in random places too.
Yeah, ways that don't even make sense.
This is
well, 5th and 6th grade for me was just a lot of people quoting Beavis and Butthead and quoting The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was what age I was at.
What are they into? Quote, like don't they like the brothers who are pretty crass, Jake and Logan?
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
They haven't found them yet, I don't think, but they do. They fucking love YouTubers, and
crass
Twitch
ones
streamers and
or
stuff. That's the
whatever.
thing is like, dude, I make them watch stuff, TV shows and movies and stuff, and they will watch it and they'll enjoy it. But if I didn't make them, like come in here, we're watching a movie, like they would just watch YouTube, like YouTubers and stuff. And that's how most kids are. Like they just,
do they like
it's
crass
just YouTube
ones?
all goddamn day.
There's got to be some of that on there.
I'm sure, but usually when I watch, if I ever see the streamers or the YouTubers they're watching, it drives me insane.
What are they doing? Just like throwing stuff?
They play video games and yell, and it's like they're just like loud. And I'll be watching them sometimes, and I'll be like, this is low effort garbage, right? Like, I was like,
that's not what your father does.
I was like, this dude has no jokes, no nothing. I was like, he's just being loud. Why do you like this, right?
He's described my special that way.
And what do they say? I'm curious.
They're just like, oh, you just don't get it or whatever. And another time I asked one of them, I was like, I don't understand why you just like to watch I don't like why you like to watch other people play video games on the TV. And he was like, why do you like to watch other comedians tell jokes on the TV? And I was like, God damn it.
Got his ass.
Yeah, but
so I think it was. I think it was 7th.
Video games aren't considered an art form.
No, but they are like.
They're heading that way.
I don't know about art. Well, first of all,
maybe
I think making video games, like the people that make like Red Dead Redemption or whatever, that's 100% an art form. But as far as playing them, no, but it is like more and more of a legitimate pursuit. It's still like going pro in the NFL, making money off of it. But like, that shit's huge.
True.
Not to defend your kids too much, but dude, if you actually watch some of those people that are like really insanely good at like Fortnite go on these like runs, I can understand like watching a 10-minute clip of it because I'm so bad at it and like watching somebody be good at it.
No, I agree with that. But the thing is, a lot of them, they watch it. It's not because they're good. See, I get that too. The people who are the best in the world at a video game that you like to play, I totally get watching that. Because it is impressive if you play it too.
But let's not watch middle school football.
But they watch people that aren't even good. They just are dumb while playing.
Do the kids think they're funny? Are they like, this guy is funny?
Yeah.
I think also around that age, it just depends on your environment too. Because I think it was 7th grade for me. And I think we got like a new kid and he started it. And now we're all into like those kinds of jokes. And I bet your kids go to a school where maybe like you're lucky right now, they just haven't been around it. It will happen like seemingly overnight, because what happens, I think, is like some part of your brain gets tickled when you start to hear that stuff, and then you just love
puberty too,
it.
right? Is coming up soon.
Isn't it happening later for kids too? Isn't that a thing?
Huh?
Puberty because the chicken.
I don't know.
Because of hormones in the chicken or something?
I think that, like,
Joe was all over that.
I think it's pretty proven that puberty's coming later, and men have less testosterone all throughout their life.
I've definitely heard a lot of people bitching about that. It's because that's how woke we've gotten. We're all pussies now, us men. We don't have any testosterone anymore because we're not sunning our taints. Anyway.
I've heard it's because of the microplastics.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I mean, those definitely don't hit. But
no, I like macroplastics.
What do you think about, in terms of like stream, we're all comedians, and obviously I, like, and Corey too, both like went viral on the internet, but both have been doing stand-up for years before that. Like, these people that you ever find somebody and you're like, what is this? And then you look and they have like 5 million followers on Instagram or something, and they don't. All they do, I mean, there's one guy we bitch about all the time. This dude drives me insane. Literally all he does is like, he finds a clip that's already going viral, that's like a funny clip or whatever, and he'll inject himself in the middle of it and say like one line, and like he's like a joke. Like the example I always give, because I was like, are you serious? Like, there's this video that was getting passed around. It's this white trash looking dude, like trailer park looking dude. You see his girlfriend's butt leaning over the sink in the kitchen. He walks up and smacks it, and when he smacks it, the camera moves, and you see it's not a butt, it's her gigantic gut. She's a big fat girl. And so that it shows that. It cuts to this guy. He stares at the camera, and he goes, I ain't seen a twist like that since The Sixth Sense. And it cuts off, and that's the whole thing, right? So it's like stuff like that. Sometimes he don't even say anything, right? He just makes like a face. Like,
he did one of mine early on, and he just lip sunk my joke.
And this guy's huge.
Yeah, he wasn't huge when he did mine.
He's got like 7-ish million followers on TikTok and like 2 or 3 million on Instagram.
And he tours now. You're missing weekends because of this guy.
Anyway,
well,
like, where you at on all that?
So now that we're done ranking animal rape,
I imagine it don't hit for you, right?
I mean, I don't have I guess I don't have a strong take on it, other than I just want to know who's watching.
I think
I don't know who's watching.
Okay, because of things we've already talked about, I have found that usually when you run across somebody like that and you ask yourself that question, usually the answer is children.
Right.
10 and 12-year-old children, whatever. And that's like, and there's a shitload of them. They're on YouTube and social media and stuff all the time. And they're massive.
Selling tickets.
But it still could be kids, because there's right down this same street, they're right across from my house, there's a dance studio called Studio Siwa. You know JoJo Siwa?
Oh, of course.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, like,
no, I don't.
she got, I thought you were being serious because she...
It does sound like a bird, though.
She got huge.
Looks like one, too.
She got huge amongst kids, like originally on the internet. And she does like songs and stuff. I don't know. I've never seen it, but she does music stuff. And the last time we were in New Orleans, I was on the way to our show at that little theater we were at and did not sell out. And I went by the Superdome.
Yep.
And JoJo Siwa was playing the Superdome that night.
Whoa.
So, like...
But her stuff's for kids.
It is for kids, yes.
That guy is not selling tickets. It's kids, but also, dude, I think it's like everybody you went to high school with is watching that guy's videos and probably thinking to themselves, man, Treyarch get with this guy. They should collaborate.
I just want to know. Well, I can imagine clicking on the video and watching it because it's already gone viral, so it's obviously capturing people's attention. But I can't imagine being like, I'm going to follow that guy.
Right.
He's my guy. I'm going to follow him and go to his live shows.
You know what I just realized it is? You remember when people were aggregating and all they were doing?
Jew and them?
Yeah.
Fuck Jerry? Yeah.
They were just taking our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were like, we're aggregators. And we were like, this is bullshit. That guy's doing that. But then but at the end, I'll say a line and there I get away with it.
As long as you... As far as the aggregators go, it is still kind of like, well, that's not an actual skill. I guess you have taste. I don't know. But anyway, as long as you give credit, then it actually hits for me just fine. If they credit, because like Rex, right?
Yeah.
Like he gives you credit and whatnot, and they can give you like a bump and shit. But those guys were acting like they came up with the stuff or whatever.
But I'm saying this guy's like almost a response to that. Like, okay, the critique is you're not giving credit and you don't do anything. And he's like, all right, I give credit and I add a line. And I still am selling out more fucking tickets than you. I'll be honest, if this dude had done it to me later in his career and it had bumped me a little bit, I might be like, dude, that got fucking rules, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, there's a lot of quality stuff out there too, boys.
That's true. I mean, no, that is true.
What?
There's more great stuff and more
Joe
terrible
Zimmerman
stuff.
special.
For example,
There it is. Cult classic.
Thank you. And I'm going to start taking viral videos and add my little line at the end.
Yeah.
And my little
Do it to mine.
Worth a shot.
and I'm going to plug Cult Classic at the end of the viral video.
Well, yeah, it is about time. It was great to see you.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
No.
wrap it up.
I mean, no. You actually.
No, we need to. Joe, plug all your other shit, though.
Yeah, I was about to say. Tell everybody
dates or
what you want them to know.
Oh, just I try to stay active once a week on Instagram at Joe Zimmerman. I'll post a little clip. I definitely follow these boys. And my new special on YouTube called Cult Classic. I hope you'll give it a watch. And I think those are the big two things: Instagram and Cult Classic new special.
Nice. Yeah.
I love that.
And again, not just saying it, y'all. Absolutely incredible. So funny. Like I said, totally clean, but like in a way you don't even think about that. You don't even think about that, but it is clean, so it is family friendly. But it's just
because
funny.
Joe, his energy is so filthy that it makes up for it.
You can see it in his eyes.
Well, the next hour is going to be all dolphin and ostrich assault.
He wouldn't even say the R word.
I know.
He's like dolphin assault.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough word. So yeah. For me,
that's not the R word I thought of. But yeah.
Also, none of that was time sensitive. What you just said. This actually will be next Wednesday. Just so you know.
Okay, great.
So. Hey,
Merry
y'all,
Christmas. This
weekend, coming up soon. Tis the season. Y'all, this weekend, the three of us are going to be in Zanies. As always, there's our homecoming holiday dates at Zanies in Nashville. So come see us. And I've got a bunch of dates in 2024. Go to TreyCrowder.com and come and see me.
No, this show comes out after my San Francisco shows, and then I'm off probably most of January. I think I'm going to be in Orange County. I don't even remember the date, but I hope we don't even have listeners in Orange County. If we do, you're probably rad, and you hate all the people you grow up around.
We definitely have some.
Okay, cool. So there's some people in Orange County who are against the tide of Orange County. Isn't Orange County where all the Republicans out here live?
Yeah, but dude, it's like nothing compared to the red parts of where we're from.
Well, anyway.
It's like the red part of Southern California, but think about how different what the Overton window or whatever is in Southern California.
Yeah, so DrewMorganComedy.com. Come hear me talk about the Overton window.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and also listen to all the podcasts in the Skewniverse. There is the Weekly Skews with Trey and Smart Mark. Drew has Gravy Baby with Carmen Morales and DJ Lewis. Me and Trey have Putting on Airs. Also, by the way, Through the Screen Door, my old podcast coming back. Go to bonuscorey.com to get my shit. And by the way, Gerrymander, my character, he's running for president, and you can get your T-shirt to support the campaign at CoreyShirts.com. Also, thank you all for listening to the WellRED show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Hold on. What are you laughing at?
It says Congress on your shirt. You said president. Is he bumping up because he's already in Congress?
You have to get in Congress first. That's this election. And then he's going to run for president.
It was funny to me as part of the bit, too. It just, never mind. It hit for me.
It's fake.
I know.
It's fake.
That's what I'm saying. It's funnier as a fake, and you're like, and also, what if we made the T-shirts wrong in this fake universe?
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but you are correct. We like what? How does it go? The song?
Tune in next week
if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew.
Skew. All right.
This episode is brought to you by the new book, Round Here and Over Yonder, written by authors Trey Crowder and Corey Ryan Forrester. That's ya boy. The book is out now. I would like to thank everyone who did the pre-order, but for those of you who were like, you know what, I want to wait and actually go to a bookstore and pick this thing up, well, you can do that right now. Round Here and Over Yonder, a front porch travel guide written by two progressive hillbillies. Parenthetical, yes, that's a thing. We love long titles, but we love making you laugh even more. This book is chock full of jokes. We chock filled it too. It's got a bunch of jokes in it. It's really, really, really fun. We tried to take the stereotypes of certain regions, talk about what they are, talk about what they got right, talk about what the actual reality is. Of course, we did it with our own little region here in the South. We went everywhere else in the United States, and for the first time in our lives, we went to the UK. It's Rednecks Abroad. The book is Round Here and Over Yonder. Not to brag on us, but I will. It is hilarious. Pick it up now wherever you get books. And by the way, we narrated the audio version if that's how you want to digest it. But there is no wrong way. Round Here and Over Yonder, wherever you get your books. Do it at an indie bookstore. I like that more. Don't tell Amazon, though. Bye.